Welcome back to another episode of 6 and 6, where we cover 6 stories from around the world in 6 minutes or less. With that said, start your timer. We begin today in Brazil, where in a devastating police operation in Rio Complexo de Albufeira, the complex, over 40 bodies were found following a major law enforcement action targeting criminal gangs. The incident, now considered the deadliest police operation in the city's history, has sparked intense debate about the use of excess force and political police tactics in Brazil's challenging urban environments. From Reuters, quote, "This is a tragic outcome of a policy that relies overwhelmingly on lethal force," said a representative from a human rights group monitoring police activity in Brazil. Quote, "The operation, which unfolded over several hours, involved a heavy police presence that included armored vehicles and helicopters," witnesses reported. Local officials defended the operation as a necessity to curb rampant crime, end quote. Next, we travel across the Atlantic to Tanzania, where the president, Samia Suluhu Hassan, is poised to win re-election after key opposition leaders were disqualified from the upcoming vote. The National Electoral Commission decision has raised significant concerns about democratic fairness and political competition in Tanzania. President Hassan, already considered the frontrunner, appears set to consolidate her political power through an electoral process that has been criticized by potentially manipulated. From Reuters, quote, "The exclusion of key opposition leaders from participating in these elections has raised alarms not just in Tanzania but also captured the attention of international watchdogs. Observers argue that the integrity of the electoral process is significantly compromised, creating an uneven playing field that favors the incumbent," end quote. Next, back across the Atlantic, in Canada, the Bank of Canada has reduced its key interest rate by a quarter basis point to 4%, aiming to address economic slowdown and support household businesses. While this cut might be the last for the foreseeable future, inflation remains slightly above the target at 3.3%. The Canadian economy is expected to grow modestly, with challenges stemming from weaker global demand and reduced commodity prices. From Reuters, quote, "In the context of persistent inflationary concerns and sluggish economic recovery, the Bank of Canada has opted to reduce its key interest rate from 4.25% to 4%. The bank will closely monitor the economic landscape and adjust policy as necessary to steer the economy towards its targets," an official statement from the bank read, end quote. Next, across the world in Bangladesh, Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina has warned about potential voter boycotts if opposition parties are prevented from participating in the upcoming election. She emphasized the importance of inclusive democratic processes and shared responsibility in maintaining election integrity. The statement came amid rising political tensions and concerns about democratic practices in the country. From Reuters, quote, "If a party does not participate in the election and those voters do not come to the polls, then big gaps are created in the democratic transition," Sheikh Hasina further noted, quote, "It's not just the ruling party's duty to ensure fair practices. It is a shared responsibility across the political spectrum to maintain the sanctity of elections," end quote. Now, to the south in New Zealand, there has been a expanding effort to put more sanctions on Russia by targeting the international shadow fleet that transports Russian oil, bypassing existing economic restrictions. These sanctions aim to disrupt Russia's oil export revenue and demonstrate solidarity with international partners in supporting Ukraine. From Reuters, quote, "By targeting entities and individuals who are providing crucial transport links for Russian oil exports, these sanctions are designed to disrupt one of Russia's principal sources of revenue," said Foreign Affairs Minister Naina Mahuta. She further emphasized that the sanctions are a part of an ongoing strategy to deter Russian influence and pressure Moscow to cease military actions in Ukraine, end quote. And we finally go to Europe, where a group of suspects has been detained in connection with a heist at the Louvre Museum involving the theft of several valuable artworks. The Paris prosecutor's office reports that the suspects have partially acknowledged their involvement, prompting a broader investigation into the organized crime network specializing in art theft. This incident has raised significant concerns about security measures at high-profile museums worldwide, highlighting the sophisticated nature of art trafficking criminal groups. From Reuters, quote, "Our current investigation, which stretches across several jurisdictions, reveals that these suspects are part of a well-coordinated group operating with calculated precision and strategic planning. trafficking. Their partial confessions are crucial for unraveling the broader network involved in art trafficking, end quote. And of course, if you want to read any of today's articles, you can find all of them linked in the description below that like and subscribe button. Also down there, you can find the podcast on Spotify, Podcast, Podvine, as well as Apple Podcasts. And you can also find the Twitter handle at Your Daily Flip, where it posts links to these episodes on Tuesday and Thursday, and our normal podcast on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So with all that said, there's only one more thing to say. Stay safe. Don't die.